What's up, player? Yeah. Hell, living there, talking here. Coming to you live with Daigo. This motherfucking car. Live with VRified Games. How we doing, Daigo? And fuck you, Carl.
Hey Ed, how's it going?
Hey guys.
Alright, motherfuckers. Tell me, what are y'all doing today?
Well Ed, more and more, increasingly, physical media is disappearing.
Yeah? So?
Yeah, it's being replaced by digital media, so, you know, it's kind of like a changing of the tide, sort of a new era, out with the old, in with the new.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Okay, well this doesn't just extend to physical store-bought games or movies, things like that. This is also affecting the high street, this is also affecting downtown areas, it's also affecting local arcades.
What the hell are you babbling on about?
Jesus Christ, Ed. What he's talking about is the shift to digital media. Everything is now being sold digitally. You no longer have physical copies of anything. They're being phased out.
Yeah, so?
So, as gamers, some of the best experiences of our generation were going down to the arcades.
Yeah?
Well yeah, unless you live in, say, the Asian territories, arcades are disappearing, especially in Europe. They're just disappearing. The old school arcade cabinets are being replaced by pachinko machines, are being replaced by slot machines. Actual games are being phased out.
Oh yeah, so it's not as if our old asses are gonna go down to the arcades now.
Well, yeah, true. But at least there is presence online. The idea being video game preservation. Like, as physical media disappears and it's replaced with digital media, that's all well and good. But what if the license expires or there's copyright issues in the future? You know, those games are gone forever. But video game preservation, the idea is that it stores these games so that they don't disappear, that they're there forever. Now, circling back around to arcades, yes, you can buy physical arcade machines. You may need to take a mortgage to do so, but you can do that. There are also other options such as OneUp.com, which produce really good replicas of arcade cabinets, albeit at a third scale. And that's fine. You can also go the DIY route and build your own arcade machine with a MAME emulator and run the games that way. All well and good. What of those in-between titles?
In-between titles?
Yeah, see, there was a period of time in the arcades where newer titles were being produced, but they weren't getting ported to home console. That was the only way you could really experience them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens when those games disappear? You can no longer go down the street and play them anymore. They're just gone. Well, not anymore. Now with video game preservation, you can access these games. It is possible. It's highly illegal. It borderlines on piracy, but considering it's damn near impossible to own these games yourself, what option are you left with if you want to preserve these games?
Man, this has been going on for almost 5 minutes of waffling. What is going on?
Well, okay, let's cut to the chase here. Recently, good friends of the channel Ironbug VR produced a video for House of the Dead Remake. Now, he was able to play that on his standalone VR headset through virtual desktop, and it looked like a fantastic experience. So we decided, okay, let's go ahead and try this, but let's take it a step further. Let's add 3D to the mix. Now, our experiment failed, but other good friends of the channel, Paradise Decay, was successful. So building on that foundation, I thought to myself, wow, this is such a good experience. This is probably the best use case for a VR headset outside of traditional VR that I have experienced to date. Playing these old light gun games with your motion controller and in 3D was an amazing experience. So that made me go, okay, can we do this with other titles? And the obvious answer straight away was MAME. Now, if you don't know what MAME is, this was an emulator that was released back in the early 2000s. The idea being, again, video game preservation of arcade titles that you can no longer access anymore. Now, that's all well and good, but I think up until 2001, 2002, there's no support for games beyond that. So if you've experienced arcade titles in the last 20 years and you love them, chances are you won't be able to get them on MAME. However, there is a saving grace, and I'm so happy to have found this. Technoparrot.
Techno what now?
Technoparrot, you moron.
Yeah, Technoparrot. The idea behind Technoparrot is to pick up exactly where MAME left off, and they're like, okay, if your title won't run on MAME, get over here, it's gonna run here. And I'm talking ultra-modern arcade titles that you would not expect to run. You have House of the Dead 4, Time Crisis 5. You know, these are very recent games in the last 10-15 years. And it's not just light gun shooters, although that is what we're going to focus on today. The emulator will run all your Tekkens, your Street Fighters, it'll run Daytona, you know, you name it. If you've played it in the arcade, most likely you will play it on Technoparrot. Now, it's criminal how little attention this emulator has gotten. Because not only is it a great emulator, it runs these games flawlessly. Like, they just run amazingly. So now, taking that into consideration, we now have our video game preservation. Great. Can we play it in VR?
Well, assuming we're making a video on it, I'm gonna say yeah.
Hell yeah, we can. Alright. So guys, if you want to do this yourself, follow along. Okay, first thing you gotta do, go to the link in the description. You're gonna see a number of links, okay? Download them. Get them on your desktop, get them wherever you want them. Just put them on there. Go ahead and install Technoparrot. Now, although we are advocates of video game preservation,
with her partner, James.
we are anti-piracy, and it is a very, very fine line. It comes down to almost a moral judgment of what we think is piracy and what isn't. Like, if you can physically buy the media, if you can digitally buy the media, then you go ahead and download it, that's piracy. However, if the media is no longer available for sale, or it's like an arcade cabinet that is way out of your price range,
It's been a while, Kate.
there's no arcade for you to go down and get it, then have at it. There you go. What else are you gonna do? Anyway, that being said, this is the reason we cannot provide links for games. But if you did want to get these games, and you do have a Google search engine, and you were to put in, hypothetically speaking, say Technoparrot arcade game list, for instance, just spitballing, you may be able to find something.
Careful, Carl, okay? Don't want to get taken down.
Ah, take this down.
Yeah.
Alright, so you do all that, get your games, okay. What you want to do is go to game list, add your games. Now, how Technoparrot works is it works off .exes. So, when you download your games, you're going to get folders. Just search for the exe inside the folder. That's where you want to point it to. Okay. Now, each game is different, so you need to configure it how you want. But basically, we want all these games to run full screen. If you change the resolution, change it. You want a 16:9 resolution. So depending on your system, that's up to you. Okay. So, that's how you get Technoparrot installed on your PC. And that's how you get games on.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Alright, guys, so that would be the first step. Okay. So that's all well and good. If you want to play flat screen, you want to play in your monitor, your TV, whatever, you can do that now. You can enjoy these titles. However, what we're focusing on today is like gun titles, number 1. Number 2, getting them in 3D. And number 3, playing them in your VR headset. Those are the end goals. So you want to play them in a like gun sort of situation. Carl, what do we do?
Alright, so if you want to play them as like-gun titles, yeah, no problem. That's very, very easy, actually. On each game, you're going to have controller settings. Go in there. Alright? Choose Windows Mouse. Okay? Alright. I'll leave that for the moment. We're going to configure the buttons. Okay. So, power on your VR headset. Okay? Open up your virtual desktop. Alright. Now we're going to run Steam VR. Okay, once Steam VR is up and running, make sure your controllers are active. As in, they're awake and they're moving. Alright. Now, in virtual desktop, go back to desktop. Okay, we're going to be using the desktop view. Alright. Now, in the link to the description, you'll find a link to Opentrack. Open that bad boy up. Now, if you've seen our previous videos, you will have seen that we've used Opentrack to track our headset, to get head tracking. Alright, in this case, we're going to use it to get controller tracking. Now, you may be scratching your head wondering, well, with virtual desktop, can't I just use my controller as a mouse? Ordinarily, yes you can, but with the emulator, it does not seem to work. Your cursor will be stuck on the screen and will not move unless you follow this step. So, okay, go ahead and open up your Opentrack. On your input device, choose Steam VR. Okay. To the right of that, you're going to see a little options menu. Click it, and you're going to see devices.
Now, depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed, choose which controller you want to use. In our case, we use right-handed. Okay. Now press start. You should see the little octopus move. Now, if you find the tracking is a little off, you can go into options and you can adjust it however you want. These are the options that work for us, and they work well. If you want to take a note, you can. Okay. Now go back to your Technoparrot controller settings for your game. Configure the buttons. What I like to do is have trigger as trigger, obviously. Secondary fire, I'll put to A or B. Start button, I'll put to the thumbstick pressed in, because you don't use it anyway. Okay, you're good to go. That's your controller setup. Oh, thanks, Carl. Okay, that was easy enough. So now, you are able to play the game. You're able to play it through virtual desktop on your VR headset, and you're able to use your motion controls. Fantastic. If you want to just do that, you're good to go. But, yeah, we always have to take it a step further, so 3D. Can we get this in 3D?
Yeah, we can get this in 3D, son.
Man, what the fuck was that? You talking gangster now? You want to steal my lines as well, motherfucker? It's bad enough you're getting more and more screen time up in this. I'm the face of the channel, motherfucker.
You're facing my ass.
What you say, man?
Nothing. I said I'm wheezing with asthma.
Oh. Alright.
Okay, so yeah, 3D. Yeah, it can be done. Alright, now. This will have to be done by a game-by-game basis. So, if you refer back, adding your game library, same step. You've got to look for those EXEs in each game folder. Alright? So go ahead and link in the description and download Reshade. Now, the version of Reshade we're going to use is the Plus Add-ons version. Alright? So when you open up that web page, you'll see two options. You want the bottom option, not the top. Alright, download. Go ahead, open it up. Now, quick note before we continue. You will see a link in the description to Sinden. Alright, now if you don't know, that is a light gun manufacturer. You can play light gun games on your PC. Now, how that works is they use Reshade also to create a border around the game so that the gun can see that. That's how that works. Now, we don't care about all that. What we do care about is their compatibility page. This is going to help us out immensely. If you look at their compatibility page, you will see what API each game uses. That will let you know which API to install, be that DirectX, OpenGL, Vulkan, whatever. Alright, so with the knowledge in hand of what API you're going to use, let's use Alien Extermination as an example here. Okay, so we can see that the API it uses is OpenGL, so okay, let's go ahead, select OpenGL, continue. Alright, when you get to this page, uncheck everything, and check SuperDev 3D by Blue Sky Defender. Okay, go ahead. What we're interested in is SuperDev 3D VR. We're not really interested in the others. You can download them if you want, you can play around with it, but that's what we're going to use. So go ahead, select it. Okay. Go ahead and let that install. Now, when you load up the game, press the home key. Okay. Now, if you follow along on screen, you'll see the settings we use. Now, we're just going to use the basic settings. You can play around with the others if you want to, but first setting we look at is IPD. Now, LIGO's IPD is 65, so go ahead and set it, but you set it to whatever your IPD is. Alright, go ahead and scroll on down. In this setting, be sure click on these three settings. Okay. Now you should be able to see like a gray screen. The darker the image, the closer it is to you, so we can adjust that now. If you notice the screen is upside down, you can flip it. Vice versa. The In some instances, the 3D is backwards, as in, you will notice items closer to you are white, items further away are dark. You do not want that, that's not going to work. So you can flip that by pressing reverse. Again, this is all game by game basis. So how you want things to look is right side up. You want the darker items to be closer to you, the whiter items to be further from you. That is how the 3D works. So, using this slider, you can increase or decrease the strength depending on your tastes. I tend to hover this between 70 and 100 depending on the game. That gets great results. Great pop actor. Alright, press home again, and you'll notice the images now side by side. That's it.
Whoa, thanks Carl. So, yeah, if you follow all those steps, you'll have a modern arcade emulator with motion control acting as your light gun in 3D in your VR headset. And as you've seen throughout the video, we've shown different examples using Virtual Desktop's environment system. We play different games in different environments just to give you an idea of how it looks. One of the best use cases that I've seen is the pass-through. Now, as of this date, only Quest Pro and Pico use color pass-through. So, Quest 2 is in black and white. It's still a good experience, but it doesn't make for a good video, so that's an option that you can use if you want. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. As you saw, we were playing in a cinema, we were playing in a modern apartment. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, as I previously mentioned, this is one of the best use cases for a VR headset and VR equipment outside of traditional VR. It's just so much fun. And you know, the sky's the limit. If you've got yourself a steering wheel setup, why not put Virtual Desktop in pass-through mode? Have this giant virtual screen in front of you that's curved in 3D. Play Daytona, you know, Initial D, all of these racing games, they'll work. They'll work great. So yeah, the sky's the limit. Oh, yeah, it's gonna leave it there, you guys. So like, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any thoughts, queries, any critiques, put them down below. If indeed there are any games you'd like us to look at VRifying in the future, put those down below, and we will presumably get back to you. And yeah, VRified Games out.
Yeah, alright. See y'all in game, you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, see you all in day. So mature.